Discipline is what differentiates someone mediocre from someone extraordinary. It is the ability to go further than others. Having discipline is very complicated and requires practice and tricking your brain, because as humans we have a primitive instinct that makes us look for dopamine, a substance that is generated in our brain, which gives us a feeling of pleasure. It has its logic, since our brain rewards us with pleasure when we perform actions that are favorable to us, such as eating when we are hungry, drinking when we are thirsty, reproducing to leave offspring as a species. Dopamine has allowed human beings to advance, but it has only one problem. It is addictive. We are not a perfect machine. We have our faults. For example, we age and die. In the case of dopamine, it is responsible for addictions. Addiction to social networks, addiction to video games, drugs. We have found a way to get our brain to generate dopamine quickly and effortlessly. Instant gratification. Today's world is full of stimuli that awaken our instant gratification, and this is a problem. Most things that give us instant gratification bring us nothing, only pleasure. Our brain no longer generates dopamine when we perform an action that benefits us as people. It now generates dopamine for the sole purpose of obtaining pleasure. With that need met, we no longer have any incentive to perform actions that really benefit us, and even less if they require effort. This is the biggest problem in today's society. People have forgotten the feeling of satisfaction after achieving something with effort. Why should I make an effort if I can feel good without making an effort? Throughout your life, you have probably felt the frustration of wanting to do something, for example, exercise or start a new project. And at first, when you are motivated, everything goes well. But as soon as the motivation disappears, you are unable to continue. That's lack of discipline. You have the idea of having a nice and trained physique, and you decide to join the gym and go every day. The first week you don't miss a day of going because you feel motivated, but during the second week there is a day when you feel tired and you think, I'll go tomorrow, today I'll rest. And the next day, the same thing happens. How do we solve this problem in a society that rewards instant gratification? How can I become disciplined so that I can achieve what I set out to do, even if there are days when I have no motivation? We have the example of Miyamoto Musashi. Although he was not a Stoic philosopher, we can learn a lot from his life and his philosophy and apply it to our lives to become more disciplined and achieve what we set out to do. Before continuing, I would appreciate it if you like the video, as this way you help me to make this philosophy reach more people. If you do not want to miss any video, subscribe and hit the bell. Miyamoto Musashi was a samurai born in Japan in 1584. Since he was a child, he wanted to become the best swordsman in Japan. So he trained hard and traveled around the country training and facing the best duelists of the time. It is said that he fought in more than 60 duels and never lost. In many cases, these duels were against several enemies at once, so he learned to use a sword in each hand. He was also a philosopher and wrote several books, among which stands out the Book of the Five Rings, where he embodied his entire philosophy and his path based on discipline to become the best warrior in Japan. His philosophy of life can be summarized in these 4 points. 1. Miyamoto Musashi avoided doing things just because they gave him pleasure. He believed that this would make him weak and undisciplined. By rejecting desire, instant gratification, the only way for his brain to generate dopamine was through hard-won satisfaction. For example, when he defeated an opponent in a duel or finished a sword training, he tricked his brain into telling him that effort is the only way to feel good. Thus, if he wanted to feel good, the only thing he could do was make an effort. Miyamoto knew that greatness came at a price, and he needed to pay it. No matter how hard it was, do you think he would have become the best swordsman by waking up late or skipping training when he didn't feel like it? Miyamoto Musashi used to say, "Time is well spent when you do something with a valuable purpose, and there is nothing that comes close to that feeling." 2. Focus on one thing at a time. Miyamoto-san believed that focusing on and mastering a single art could open up 1,000 different paths. He decided to master the art of swordsmanship. He trained nonstop and constantly sought his limits. His skill opened up many opportunities throughout his life. Focus on fully mastering a skill rather than trying as you please. Many times the motivation to do many things at once can end up in us not completing any of them. It is easier to be disciplined with one task, and when that task becomes part of our daily routine, we can try the next one. This way we build a habit and will no longer depend on motivation to do what we need to do one task at a time, one step at a time. 3. Never give up your way. One of the main causes of people not being disciplined is the lack of patience. When we start something new, we look for quick results because we are used to the instant gratification that today's society offers us. Miyamoto Musashi kept repeating to himself, "Never give up the path." He, like any human being, in his efforts to achieve a goal, would have moments of doubt. If we have a clear objective, we must focus and be patient. The key is to be sure of what we are doing. Stop and think if you are really committed to your goal, and if you are willing to sacrifice whatever it takes to achieve it. With that clear idea and adding patience and focus on what needs to be done, sooner or later you will achieve what you set out to do. That is the formula for discipline. 4. Live with honor. Miyamoto Musashi would be the rules of Bushido, or way of the warrior. Bushido was a series of rules of conduct of the samurai, composed of 7 virtues: honor, respect, integrity, honesty, courage, compassion, and loyalty. Of the 7 virtues, the most important in Bushido is honor. Honor is self-respect. If you respect yourself, you behave with honesty, respect, integrity, courage, compassion, and loyalty. Acting with honor also means not cheating, not looking for shortcuts in life, or choosing the easy way out. If you respect for self, vow to not behave like someone who needs instant gratification, who is not capable of making an effort. If vow respect for self, vow know what vow are capable of, and vow don't back down when it comes to working day in and day out towards a goal, behaving honorably, you become disciplined. What do you think of Miyamoto Musashi's philosophy? I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. It is important to keep in mind that we are not perfect, and we will fail many times. When we want to be disciplined, we must be realistic and realize that things will probably not go our way quickly, and that we will make mistakes. It is important that when we get off track, we get back on track. It doesn't matter how many times we get out of it. If we quickly return to it, over time it will happen less and less. Train your discipline, just like Miyamoto trained with his swords. Be constant and strive. If you live without working on your discipline, try to do at least once a day something that is hard or annoying for you. I hope this video will help you achieve the goals you set for yourself. See you next time.